A photograph is neither taken nor seized by force. It offers itself up. It is the photo that takes you. One must not take photos. So in this second recording, the focus will be on a psychological impulse implied in taking a picture. In English, we used to say to take a picture. So we use the verb to take to describe the act of recording an image on our devices, on our imagination. If we reflect carefully on this, we can recognize in this verb the risk to understand photography in a possessive way. And this is exactly what we need as meditators and as contemplative photographers to be aware of. We need to recognize the risk we are facing in having a camera in our pockets every day for almost all the day. The risk is, in my opinion, to take pictures without realizing that this process is potentially dangerous. What harm am I doing? One might think. Nevertheless, I see a link between indiscriminate and unattentive photography and capital sins, if we want to use a Christian denomination. Sins like greed or gluttony. When Jesus was tempted in the desert, one of the three major temptations that he had to face was the offer of everything that he could see from above. So it was the temptation of possessiveness. So if our photography is moved by this inner temptation, then we might not be in front of contemplative photography. On the other hand, if we use this tool with kindness and mindfully, then we can transform our possessive photography into an exercise of letting things go and an exercise of awareness. Also, it can be an exercise of creating links, creating relationships. I think that all of us have at least a friend who sends dozens of pictures every day, if not every day, like he or she is saying, look at me, I did this, I have this, I did that, this is mine, I eat this, etc. And this could be a way of sharing facts, moments, and ideas, which is fine. But it can also be a maybe unaware sign of an hypertrophic ego. And if we are one of those people, well, I think that contemplative photography can help us in discerning when a picture should be taken or not, or when a picture should be sent or not. Jesus looked at him and loved him. We can take Jesus as our model of a contemplative viewer. He succeeded in looking and loving. It's always an interesting and helpful thing to read the Gospel, like the one according to Mark, paying attention to the verbs used to describe Jesus of Nazareth's actions. Focusing on that, we can get acquainted with how he lived. He certainly touched and was touched in a particular way. He spoke in his powerful way. He tasted profoundly bitterness and sweetness. But he was also able to look as God looks. Jesus looked and loved. And of course, his love is the love freed by any kind of possessiveness. He didn't save or cure people to make them his disciples. To many of them he said, "Go away, don't talk about me to other people." So we can say that he didn't look at things, animals, or people with greed or judgment or with a sort of bad interest. Instead, he looked at things, people, and situations with loving attention in order to understand how reality is. For example, in Mark again, we have this incredible verse. Jesus entered Jerusalem and went into the temple courts. He looked around at everything. In this passage, we can sense that Jesus looked in order to understand. He spent a lot of time in the pure act of looking, of contemplation, we can say. He looked in his own contemplative way to go beyond the surface, to go to the core, to the heart of things, to the heart of people and to the heart of relationships, to see God in all. On the other hand, we can easily say that in our hyper-connected and globalized society, we are more likely to have a possessive attitude towards the images. Not only that, we are possessed by images. We all know the terrible experience of staring at a screen, of scrolling down our pages of Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, or whatever, looking for more funny pictures or for more funny videos. They are funny for a reason, because they want us to stay there the longer that's possible. In those cases, we are possessed by the device. It's diabolic when it's like that, because we are divided. We are separated from reality. And badly influenced by influencers and by these habits. When we are in front of something, we use photography to catch it, or to take it, to steal it. Maybe we are going to exchange these images for a like, or for a comment, or for a moment of celebrity. It is true that the present moment is so important that we might want to live it fully, and why not? Preserve a memory of it. But it's hard not to remain attached to the moment itself, to accept the fact that it will eventually pass away. Having said all this, at this point we need to find a way to pass from one approach to another approach. From a possessive way of understanding and practicing photography to a contemplative approach. And meditation is one of the most effective practices. It is meditation one of the most powerful exercise, discipline that might help us in this. Meditation, in fact, we go beyond our stereotypes. We go beyond our fixed ideas, beyond our instinctual mental processes, and we can have access to a new approach. We previously said that it seems like nowadays in our society, images possess us. We can even say that we are affected by a sort of bulimia of images. Significantly, in our tradition, we meditate with our eyes closed. Ancient iconographers from the past, and most probably today's iconographers as well, used to observe some periods of images length. So a period without images. This helped them in always having a new, fresh view. So when we gently close our eyes during meditation, we are doing it not to unsee, but in order to clean our vision. So when we reopen our eyes, we can have God's view on the world. We have a fresh vision, a clearer mind. If you are already a meditator, you probably experienced how meditation changed your relationship with persons, with animals, with nature, facts, and even objects. We are more detached, and at the same time, we feel a deeper connection, a connection at a more profound level. So, as a photographer, you will not see in the viewfinder a prey or a game, but for a second, or even less, a new bond is created, and if we are lucky, or touched by grace, we understand a new meaning of a portion of the world, and also of a portion of ourselves. A strong link arises, a bond of love, from that relationship.